Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. A very big thank you to all my new Patreon supporters. I keep seeing new ones every single day. I do apologize if I'm not always able to get to you or respond back. I'm not always notified of new additions from the actual platform. A very big thank you to every single person who's been leaving a thumbs up, who's new subscriber, who's been subscribing, who's been leaving comments about what they're having for breakfast. And a very big thank you to the 3 people who keep giving my videos a thumb down within the first 10 minutes of me making it. Thank you to all for you that you actually do. The news today is going to be a bit... I don't know if it's going to be intense, but it's definitely going to be kind of out there. There's been so many things happening within the cryptocurrency space, and I'm not really sure why a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about are either shocking or incredible or really new, just in general. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. I might be talking a bit slower just so I can really get all my thoughts exactly in there because there is a lot to cover. And without further ado, that was definitely an ado. Let's jump right into it. European Central Bank President, her name is Christine Lagarde, has repeated her instance that global regulators need to tighten the rules to ensure Bitcoin falls under more coordinated oversight. In an interview with Reuters' Next Conference, amid an unprecedented bull market for the veteran cryptocurrency, Lagarde said, "Bitcoin is a highly speculative asset, which has conducted some funny business and some interesting and totally reprehensible money laundering activity," end quote. I saw this last night on Twitter and I thought it was a joke, and I knew immediately that it wasn't a joke. I'll mention this again for those of you who do not know or simply haven't heard me say it enough. I love logic. I love math. I love numbers. I love making sure that everything not is in its place. But if you're going to say something, make sure that you can back it up or make sure that you're just not talking out of your rear end. The amount of people, regulators, institutions, corporations, many years ago, and it was usually 2017 and then before, who kept on coming out saying that Bitcoin was evil, Bitcoin was malicious, Bitcoin was rat poison, Bitcoin was only used by money launderers and or people doing other illicit activities was quite high. The number of people saying this on a daily basis was so annoying because we had actual metrics from the same companies who are slightly against us now, Chainalysis and all these other yada yada yadas, who were looking through the actual systems and mainly through Bitcoin, as Bitcoin was then and is still now the most actively used blockchain. And they kept on saying, well, we can actually tell where a lot of these things are going, and all of the illicit addresses are usually 1% of 1% of the actual total network transactions that are actually happening. So to be so bold as to come out to say that Bitcoin is being explicitly used for money laundering, which it may be. Every currency is actually used in this way. Gold is also used in this way. Diamonds are also used in this way. There are people around the world who try to get around sanctions and try to get around other things, so they end up buying diamonds and they'll buy gold. And they'll transport said money or even art around the world to get it to another place to launder the actual money. And we also know for a fact, as the largest currency on the planet, it's the US dollar that's actually being used the most for money laundering alongside the euro. So why the need now to come out and say, because this is not the first time that Christine Lagarde or many other people have actually come out to say that Bitcoin is something terrible and must be controlled. It's because they can't control it. This is why we've seen such a huge major uptick in the amount of people and the amount of regulators who are saying, hey, you know what? If you're going to do this, it has to go through a cryptocurrency exchange. If this is going to happen, you have to be taxed at this number, because it's as far as they can actually really command it or do anything about it, because it's no longer a situation where you as a country can simply wave your hand and say no one can use this. It's now worldwide, completely worldwide. And this is something that I think other people really need to get into their heads, because a lot of people do forget this sometimes. It's not your fault. We do live in cities, in provinces, and we usually typically only see the things around us, forgetting that there are 7.4 billion people actually on this planet. So this made news because it was the head of the European Central Bank, I think the former head of the IMF, who basically said that Bitcoin needs to be regulated. The news that came right after was that Bitcoin started rising in price. And I saw a number of people on the internet being like, yeah, that's going to teach her Bitcoin's going up in price. And it's like, no, Bitcoin's not going up in price because Bitcoin is autonomous and Bitcoin's like, I will rise because she doesn't like me. No, people are still buying Bitcoin. These people have been saying the same things over and over, and the regulation is going to come down to the same exact thing that we've heard before. What she's calling for is more regulated cryptocurrency exchanges, more AML, more KYC, and to simply know where the transactions are actually happening. You have to, as the leader of the European Central Bank or the IMF or the ABC or whatever it actually is, you kind of have to say these things out loud. Here's the actual article discussing it from Reuters and her interview via Skype and or Zoom, whichever one is more popular right now. I'm not sure if these things scare people. They shouldn't. She said it's highly speculative and needs to be regulated. These have been said for as long as I can remember within the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin is speculative. We know that. We are speculating that the US dollar is going to continue to be garbage and Bitcoin is not, and therefore Bitcoin is going to take over the US dollar. We are speculating on that market. And as far as regulations, once again, you can say what should happen within your province or your state or your country or within your borders, but that doesn't mean that other countries are also going to follow suit. And you'll see that in a couple of minutes as well, because I know that people forget news very easily. So as long as I have to, as long as I must, I'm going to continue bringing you news until it really solidifies exactly how far this is actually going. If Bitcoin was still around $3,000, $4,000, $7,000, do you think the head of the European Central Bank would have come out to say, hey, Bitcoin's risky, watch out with what you're doing? No. We're at the point now where Bitcoin is very close, and I don't care what the current price is. I don't care how much it went down, how far it's going up. I really don't care. We are at the situation right now where Bitcoin is close to a $1 trillion market cap. When Bitcoin passes that, Bitcoin is going to continue going up because of the news that is going to make in the actual news. We are going to pass by the US dollar. We are going to pass by the market cap of gold. I had a discussion with one of my oldest friends. He's not him being old. I've known him for a long time. I said that before. People were like, you have old friends? And I don't have the time for that right now. And we were discussing because I told him to get into the cryptocurrency space in 2017. He finally made the plunge. It had to be like a year ago or something like that when prices were still fairly low. He's happy that he got into the price where he did, and was saying that he was discussing with another friend who's not a friend of mine as far as if he should sell some of his Bitcoin to get into gold, because this friend told him that Bitcoin was speculative, Bitcoin was evil, Bitcoin was this and that, and Bitcoin was never going to make it. Bitcoin was going to crumble, and people were going to eventually, sometime in the very near future, actually be going to stores with chunks of gold and chopping them off so that they could buy a loaf of bread with a little tiny piece of gold. And I told my friend, I said, you know that's not going to happen. I explained everything to him over the course of a 2-hour period. He got it and he understood. I'm just really... I wonder why people don't get it. I really wonder what it is. It also comes down to altcoins as well. Like, I understand that we may essentially live in a world where there are maybe a good 20 good altcoins out there that are being used for other purposes. Bitcoin may be the store value, but we may be running our computer systems on Ethereum. We may be using Litecoin to buy soda cans. Every other coin may have an eventual purpose. Dogecoin may be used on YouTube or maybe on eBay. Who knows exactly what it's going to be. But to think that cryptocurrencies aren't going to make it in general, I guess it simply comes down to people simply not knowing about the space. And when you've not been in the space for so long, you simply don't want to know about it. Or you make sure to kind of double down and say, well, you know what? I didn't get in before. I'm not going to get in now. I don't care how high Bitcoin goes. They keep saying that the market is a bubble when it's not. A bubble pops. Our bubble would have popped a very long amount of time ago. And the only real drop that we had was during the beginning of 19 last year, when the entire world panicked at the exact same time. I wonder if 19 had never happened, exactly how far or how high our price would have gone. So anyway, That's the European Central Bank news. This was everywhere. But this made news as if this was the first time that we've ever heard about it. And I only made sure to have 2 tabs up here. You can't see the tabs, only 2 tabs to actually discuss this because I saw it on 17 different websites as if this woman has never said that before. They don't like Bitcoin, or they understand that they can't really have control over Bitcoin, so they're going to continue saying things like this. If you think it's crazy now, just imagine when we pass by $1 trillion market cap. What do you think they're going to say when we're bigger than the euro? When we're bigger than the US dollar? They're going to double and triple down and say that it's terrible and people should stay away. But at that point, it'll become, people won't really hear them anymore because they'll know that they were lying. You told me not to get into Bitcoin when it was at 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 7,000. It's now $250,000. You know what I could have done with that money? People simply will stop listening, and that's just what's going to happen. Anyway, that's the European Central Bank news. Everywhere. Super mega popular news. Sure, why not? And without further ado, let's move on. Because, it's a new year, so why not have this news? The crypto bull season and the accompanying hype is undoubtedly upon us. Recalling some of the celebrities who got into crypto during 2017, actress Lindsay Lohan has now recorded a paid promotional video for Bitcoin and Ether. This also was very popular. We had a situation, for those of you who were not here during the course of 2017, where we had at least 36, that's a small number, celebrities who came out in support of cryptocurrencies. Part of the problem is that they were usually promoting ICOs or other things that they shouldn't have been promoting, because the idea was then, and still kind of is now, I can create something that's better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin only does 3 transactions per second. Well, we can create something that does 100 transactions per second. It's going to have this face as the actual marketer of this new coin, and therefore it's going to be absolutely amazing. What ended up happening was, and this is why I keep saying, the SEC's involvement in the cryptocurrency space is not something new. It's not something like, oh, wow, they're just targeting XRP now. That is crazy. No, they've been doing this for years. There are hundreds of projects who they've targeted across the entire scope of it. It just so happens that we are now in the midst of the beginning of another parabolic run upward, and celebrities are smelling the cash in the air, and now they're coming out once again for it. Lohan's video was commissioned by a platform called Cameo, an online service that allows people or businesses to hire celebrities to record personalized video messages. Apparently, she was paid $350, and she said, I'm just here to say that Ethereum is going to $100,000, $10,000, and Bitcoin is going to $100,000. Enjoy a prosperous 2021, and I hope you all get to drive your Lambos to the moon. If you could only imagine how many times I saw the news title, Lindsay Lohan says Bitcoin going to 100,000. Lindsay Lohan, crypto owner? She claims Ethereum is going to skyrocket. Lindsay Lohan says crypto going to the moon. And you see it the first couple of times, and I'm like, I don't care what Lindsay Lohan has to say about anything with it. Like, who is Lindsay Lohan for the cryptocurrency space? And then I finally clicked on it and read it and was like, oh, that's what happened? All right. Well, if that news is important to people, we have adoption levels that are completely unseen for any new currency or any new anything that's only been around for 12 years. It's actually unprecedented. And the fact that so much of the cryptocurrency community, so much of the cryptocurrency news focuses on, when I make the news I missed videos, usually on the weekends, some of it is usually satire, and I don't know if you can tell. Maybe my humor is just simply not there. Maybe my humor is just too dry for people to actually understand the tones and the cues that I actually use when I'm talking. It's because so much of it is actually stupid news. So much of the things that come out it's kind of like, it doesn't matter. The point is, Lindsay Lohan is telling everybody to drive their Lambos to the moon because that's what matters right now. Not the fact that all the Bitcoins being bought up, not the fact that there are people who are going to be trillionaires on this planet, not the fact that we've had institutions and banks, and even more so, it's definitely the banks more so than the institutions, who've said that the US dollar is going to collapse. The world reserve currency is going to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. And people are going to start buying Bitcoin en masse to the point where we can have a $250,000 Bitcoin this year. The world should be going absolutely insane right now over this news. The thing that we've been told is the most stable and most used thing on the planet will no longer be the most stable or the most used. We keep getting adoption number news all the time. The last news that we had was sometime last year that over 100 million people on the planet now own some type of Bitcoin or are in the Bitcoin space. And that number rises every single day. No, but Lindsay Lohan, she's the definite news that we need in the cryptocurrency space for adoption. It makes me so annoyed. I don't know if, like I said, I told you at the beginning of this video, it was going to be something because I woke up pretty okay. I didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed, but going through the actual news on a daily basis and just realizing how stupid everything is really takes a toll on me, because I would love to live in a world where logic prevailed and people. Anyway, cool. Lindsay Lohan, I can't wait to drive on the moon. What? Like who? Let's move on. Next up, Coinbase is in the news. Surprise, surprise. In the aftermath of its recent connectivity issues that deprived numerous users access to their crypto assets amid skyrocketing prices, crypto exchange Coinbase has issued an apology to its Europe-based customers, while putting the blame for the difficulties on the recent rally and regulatory obligations. Still very gray on exactly what that means. The exchange also vowed to implement changes to improve its user experience. Stop using Coinbase. I don't know how to really say that any clearer. There are other cryptocurrency exchanges. When usually, when people are just getting into the cryptocurrency space, and I usually tell this to people who I know have no interest in day trading, no interest in looking at the market every single day. They simply want to get into the market as a what if. I want to put my money into the market just to make sure in 10 years, if Bitcoin is $1 bajillion, that I have some of them. I tell them to buy on Coinbase simply because it's the easiest, it's the simplest. They have a good user interface. It's nothing complicated. If you've ever used Binance compared to using Coinbase, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Binance looks like a spaceship. You have to really know crypto, especially if you go to the buy and sell area. You will not know what you're doing. On Coinbase, it says buy Bitcoin, $25, enter. It's very, very simple. And I tell that to people who are simply, once again, grandmothers, other people who I know are not going to be trading. Other people who are very active in the cryptocurrency space, who are trading, who are looking for price swings as they happen, continue to use Coinbase. And I don't really understand why. First of all, they keep shutting down or going down, or people can't access their funds, or there's a problem with so-and-so. And it keeps happening at times when prices are either going up or really going down. And the people complain the day after, I couldn't take my money off of Coinbase. I couldn't trade. What haven't you gotten about the last 11 times that this is why I said logic. What's the thing? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, I have to stop using Coinbase. Fool me 11 times, why are you still using Coinbase? Use another platform. It doesn't make any sense. I don't really understand why this is even still news. Coinbase disclosed it was experiencing connectivity issues on the 6th of January, freezing the crypto assets of an undisclosed number of users within the United Kingdom and the European Union, as the price of Bitcoin was gearing towards $40,000. The issue is said to be identified at 8 in the morning when Bitcoin traded at 35,000 and resolved by 141 when Bitcoin was already so and so and so. Here's their explanation somewhere. Here's the chart. Wonderful. It says some of our customers in the UK and the EU have recently found it difficult to access their accounts or have faced restrictions on some transactions. In some cases, our customers have not been able to get these issues resolved quickly enough as people were trying to actually enter their accounts because the market was going crazy and they wanted to buy or sell. Imagine not being able to do that because you keep using the same crappy platform over and over. It drives me crazy. How many more times are we going to have articles like this? The only people that this should be affecting are 69-year-old women who have their coins in Coinbase who are like, oh, my grandson told me to buy some. If you are actively wanting to ever in the future, heed my warning. If Coinbase crashed when we went to 6,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 14,000, all these things happened. 19,000 and fell back down because we couldn't hit 20,000. Why? Because Coinbase kept crashing. 28,000, 30,000, and 42,000. What makes you think that Coinbase is going to be stable when we hit 50,000 or 100,000? If you are trying to catch dips, if you are trying to buy more during the point of it, it is not only you. If you happen to come across some good, juicy cryptocurrency news that makes you go, I should buy more, you are not the only person hearing that news. That news is now spread around to hundreds of thousands of other people who are trying to do the exact same thing. If you are looking to trade crypto actively, get off of Coinbase. There are other platforms. I cannot make that clearer because we're going to have articles. We are going to have articles. There are going to be articles when Bitcoin hits $100,000 that Coinbase dropped, shut down, and Bitcoin's price is going to fall to 87,000. People are going to be really upset and not understand how could this have happened for the 18th time? I simply don't understand. Over and over. Here's the actual them talking about it on their blog. Wonderful. How many times do you have to be smacked in the face to finally leave? Like, what do you need? What exactly does Coinbase have to do for you to be like, oh my gosh, he's right? I don't understand it. I simply do not understand. Anyway, that's the Coinbase news. Also quite popular news floating around as well. No one's talking about a solution. The news is always Coinbase did this, Coinbase did that, Coinbase did X, Y, and Z. 2 days later, no one's talking about it. If you are legally able to do so within your country, your jurisdiction, I don't care where you live, if you are legally able to do so, find another platform. Why not? Why not have a backup? Why not even separate your coins that you have onto 2 different platforms, maybe even 3 different platforms? Write down those passwords because, people keep forgetting them. And should Coinbase not work, well, look at that. You have 2 other platforms you can go to. That's the Coinbase news. And let's move on. Next up, also in super obvious news, and I'm not exactly sure why this kind of news keeps making the news, and I don't know if it's like, water's wet. The global head of commodities research at Goldman Sachs, Jeff Curry, made it known that institutional investors would play a pivotal role in stabilizing the cryptocurrency market. Wow. Good job. Money's going to make the market stable. Cool. Got it. In an interview on CNBC's The Coin Rush, Curry admitted that the crypto industry is beginning to mature, but still the market had a long way to go. Also obvious. He added that there were still only a few institutional investors currently, with only roughly 1% of Bitcoin money being institutional money. I believe that's a lie at this point. I believe that is an actual lie. If we know for a fact that Grayscale alone has over 600,000 Bitcoin, think of what was the other company? MicroStrategy. I think they have over now $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. We've heard about at least 62 different institutions over the course of the last 10 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than 1%. And you'll even see that it's not even just institutions who are in the cryptocurrency space. He also noted that Bitcoin and gold share a similarity in being defensive assets, and that part of gold's $3 trillion market cap could be shared with the crypto industry. So basically mimicking everything that we've heard before that we know is going to happen. Bitcoin needs more money to become stable. Cool, got it. We went over that before. For those of you who do not know, at some point, Bitcoin's market cap is going to become so high that the amount of money in it, anytime that someone sells off $3 billion, it will have no effect on the cryptocurrency market, and we're going to be a stable currency. That's the point that we're getting to. That's where we're going to go, and we'll probably be there within the next 10 to 15 years. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's not like it's not going to happen. We are going to get there at some point. Gold and Bitcoin sharing the market cap? No. Bitcoin's going to devour gold. We've had news from multiple banks that they are selling off their gold to buy Bitcoin. We know that this is happening. There will be no sharing. It is going to be that Bitcoin is simply has absorbed it. Gold is going to fall down in price, as is silver, and everyone's going to be really shocked because they've never heard this news before. Over and over. So this was also quite popular news. Here's the actual article on CNBC. Goldman says Bitcoin is starting to mature, but institutional money is a tiny fraction of the market. Wow. I love it. I love it. Also very popular news. I think whenever we get news that a rich person says that Bitcoin is coming of age, or Bitcoin is becoming more popular, or more people are putting money into Bitcoin, it's like, wow, I did not know that. I simply could not have seen that happening. Simply could not have. And also the entire gold thing, just stop it at this point. Just stop it. I think in 20 years, in 60 years, there will be people who will probably laugh at the idea or prospect of using metal from the ground as an actual store of value. We're not cavemen anymore. You are now listening to me either on your handheld device, on your tablet. You're watching me on your television that is probably not connected to a cord. There are radio signals flying through the air that's allowing you to hear me in real time without any skips. We are in the future. We don't have to use gold or metal that we know that we can keep finding more of every single year in the ground, so we know that it's not finite. Anyway, that's the Goldman news, and let's moving on. I'm tired of these people news. Less than 4 years. Where does that put us? Anybody? 2017. Keep that time frame in mind. Less than 4 years after saying that cryptocurrencies are not real, billionaire investor Howard Marks admits he could have been wrong. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. Wait. He hated it, and now he likes it? Okay. I'm kind of confused. He said the I changed my mind on Bitcoin Club could have another billionaire representative. Howard Marks, the co-founder of the $140 billion Oak Tree Capital Group, recently admitted that he needs to change his negative stance on Bitcoin while being grateful that his son purchased a meaningful amount for the family. The 74-year-old U.S. investor and writer with a net worth of $2 billion who cares is among the most prominent individuals in financial circles, similar to the most old school traditional investors, though he used to be a Bitcoin skeptic. In a 2017 note to investors, he wrote, "There they go again. He criticized the rally and advised people to avert from allocating funds in any digital assets as they are not real." How many times have you seen me be upset in videos? It's a fair amount of times. Usually when I get upset, it's because the richest people on the planet told other people between the course of 2011 to 2000 now not to get into Bitcoin. It's a bubble. It's speculative. It's terrible. You don't need it. No one's going to use it. It's going to collapse. It's going to zero. How many times have they told you that? How many times have they told other people that? Imagine the amount of people that these rich people have told other people not to get into the cryptocurrency space. These people could have been millionaires. Someone told you at some point, you heard about it. Someone told you about Bitcoin when it was $5 and you scoffed at them. Somebody went onto the news and said Bitcoin's $100. It's a bubble. Don't get into it. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. You could have probably gotten Bitcoin at $100, $200, $700, $1,100, $1,500, $3,000. Bitcoin was at $3,000 last year. How many times in the news did people say, not even paying attention to the effects of 19, the fact that the stock market is an actual bubble, the housing market is probably in a bubble? How many times did you turn on financial news and hear from a rich person, yeah, it looks like Bitcoin has collapsed? Why was Bitcoin the focal point when the entire rest of the world was collapsing? He said some businesses accept Bitcoin as payment. Some buyers want to own Ether because it can be used to pay for computing power on the Ethereum network. Some people want to put a little money into these to date profitable phenomenon rather than run the risk of missing out, but they're not real. I don't even have to read anymore because you know exactly what it's going to say. At some point, he sat in his room and magically discovered, oh wow, Bitcoin is amazing. I'm so glad that my son bought some. It doesn't say how much his son has, but if it says a meaningful amount, I assume it's probably 10,000 or more. Over and over and over and over and over. Do you remember the news that we had 3 days ago when Bitcoin fell down to 30,000? Remember how quickly news outlets were like, yeah, it's been a bubble this whole time, you know, bubble, 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 bubble. And it scares people. It tells them not to, don't get into this market. You should be buying bonds. Did you not see that the bond market went up? Remember that was the news as well? That bond prices rose. Wow. A whole 1%. 1%. Bitcoin is up by around 11% today by itself. Imagine telling people who are on the cusp of retiring, who are 3 to 4 to 5 years away from retiring, that they could have purchased even a fragment of an asset that was $3,000 last year that could potentially, no one knows, go up to $250,000 this year. Imagine someone had $3,000, hypothetical, 3 years from retiring. They barely have any money, and they put that $3,000 into Bitcoin or any other crypto asset, but we're going to stay with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin goes up to $250,000. Even if it takes 5 years, the news that we keep getting is that Bitcoin is going to $250,000 this year. No one knows if that's going to happen. What if it takes 3 years and then that happens? And these people who had nothing before for retirement now have $250,000. It may not be that much in certain countries, but they can travel to another country. They can buy a house somewhere, $50,000, and live the rest of their lives completely happy. Why do we keep having rich people telling other people who aren't as wealthy as they are, don't get into it? And then 3 years later, I might have been wrong. You know, Bitcoin's kind of cool. Why do you think I do this channel every single day? I'm actually exhausted. I'll tell you all right now, doing a video every single day, I think I'm going to have to take a break at some point. I'm not exactly sure when. It's quite exhausting to do this every single day, to not only bring the news, but have to discuss with people, have to see people fighting me in the comment section and calling me names and telling me to these terrible things and you're so-and-so and Bitcoin's not going to go this place. You know how many people I've seen since last year as well who have told me to stop telling you about Bitcoin because Bitcoin's not going to go anywhere, that I'm going to make all these people lose all their money. If you got into Bitcoin, remember when Bitcoin passed by $20,000 and I wrote explicitly, because it was true math, if you held Bitcoin before today, you're already in profit. Everyone who held it before, who's been here for a number of years, you are extremely in profit. Now, okay, it's just a lot. Every single day, it drives me absolutely wild because the last thing that I'm going to want to hear that I think is really going to make me lose my mind, if we hear at any point that any world leader, any IMF head, any leader of a central bank owns Bitcoin, owns tons of Bitcoin after they've been telling people to not get into Bitcoin for a number of years, when that money could have helped so many people. It's not even that you have to become a multi-millionaire. You know how far $50,000 goes for a lot of people? $100,000, even $25,000 to some people is life-changing money. And they know where the market's going. They know where all of this is going. It's no longer a confusing point or them simply saying, well, I had no idea that, this was all going to take place. The banks know. The institutions know. The pension funds know. And I'm going to, even the next part, and this may only apply if you haven't been here before, but if you have been here before, this is probably still going to throw you for a loop. So anyway, that's another billionaire. There's another one in the video who has now said that he is, now on the Bitcoin train. And I'm pretty sure, just logically, assumption, I'm going to assume he's probably also buying up Bitcoin right now as well. We may not hear explicitly how much he's buying every single day, or how much that his son has, but just know that that's also Bitcoin that's been taken off the table by the richest people on the planet who kept on telling you not to buy into the space. Isn't that fantastic? Imagine them knowing or having an inkling that Bitcoin could be worth $1 million one day, could be a new world reserve currency, and they told you over and over, don't look at it, it's garbage. And then at some point, 3 to 4 years later, when they know they've made money from it, they go, oh, thank goodness I got into Bitcoin and told everyone else not to. Let's move on. In very, very popular news, and I'm going to tell you exactly why this not only should be popular, but everything else I'm going to go over should actually be plastered on every single news website. You know how like on certain websites you go there and they always have like things on the side that is always like, I've seen this thing for 8 months already, like make it go away. These should be plastered on every single website, everywhere. Every single thing that has to do with finance, these should have this information somewhere. The government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or KP, one of Pakistan's 4 provinces, announced the launch of 2 state-owned Bitcoin mining farms last week, as per a report on local news outlet BOL News. Once again, Pakistan government mining Bitcoin. The move marked one of the first instances of a government using its own funds to mine and make a profit from Bitcoin. That's a lie. Not that they explicitly meant to lie, but they probably also forgot about a bunch of things that's been happening. It says KP, the province in Pakistan that earlier legalized crypto mining, just approved the use of government funds to mine. The KP government is way ahead of the curve, mining Bitcoin directly. This was quite popular news. The idea that there was a government who started using Bitcoin, that's crazy. A government who came out and was like, you know what? We are going to officially start mining Bitcoin on our land. That means, you know what, guys, we made it. Adoption is here. You know, this is the first time that we've ever heard something like this because, you know, this has never taken place before because we haven't heard this before. This hasn't been in the news before. Here's the other article. It says Pakistan set to state-owned Bitcoin mining farm to help boost economy. Absolutely wonderful. Wait, hold on a second. For those of you who weren't here just a couple of weeks ago, it says Venezuelan army starts mining Bitcoin to make ends meet. What? Whoa. You mean that there's another government around the world who's also using Bitcoin and owns Bitcoin? That seems a little bit too weird. That hasn't happened a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th time, right? Whenever we get news in the cryptocurrency space, what drives me crazy, and I don't know if it's just me, maybe I'm a robot. I'm actually not sure what's wrong with my brain, but I remember things quite clearly over and over and over. Whenever we get news like this, when we got the Pakistan news, it was everywhere. There's a government using Bitcoin. Bravo. They get it. They're ahead of the curve. They understand what's happening. But they're not. Well, they are. They are. By all means and by all accounts, they are actually ahead of the curve, but they are not the first to actually do this. And they will not be the last. Bitcoin's price should be over $200,000 right now. Do you understand what it means that a government has acknowledged that their economy is garbage and is going to go down? Why would they have pivoted to a digital currency that's 12 years old? What do they know that everyone else is ignoring? Why would you allocate resources if you are a government who needs money, who doesn't have enough money, and your economy is trash? Why would you be allocating any money towards a digital currency, even more so mining equipment to create it? Do you think that Pakistan or Venezuela is going to be like, oh, you know, it's been 3 years, let's throw the Bitcoin away? Why does no one get this? Whenever we get news that Bitcoin is a bubble, Bitcoin's going to so-and-so, Bitcoin's going to blah, 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 it's all a lie consistently over and over. And it drives me absolutely up the wall. Completely up the wall. That's why I told you at the beginning of this video. I said when I started reading this news, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm not sure if it's the people who go on to CNBC or Fox Business, if they're a little cuckoo in the head. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But to have this information, this is the information that we have. We are normal, everyday citizens. And this is the information that I am able to go onto the internet and find myself. That there are governments who now own Bitcoin and are mining it as a means to not only get around sanctions, but also to help boost their economy. Where do you think this is all leading to? Do you think Bitcoin's going to go down to zero tomorrow? Do you think that no one's going to be using Bitcoin? Or do you think it's abundantly clear at this point that Bitcoin is going to be a world reserve currency? Think of that. Imagine you're on your last dollar. What do you do with that? Do you go and invest it, or do you go buy some food? They chose to invest it. Why are they investing? What do they know? It's almost as if, as if banks have been telling them that Bitcoin's going to go a lot higher and eventually stabilize. Wow, I don't know. I mean, a bank has never said that before. Don't forget, a lot of the banking news that we've been getting has been leaked information. The first time that we got news that a bank said that Bitcoin this year might go to 250,000 to 300,000, that was sent to their rich investors. Why would a bank be doing that? Why would a bank be sending out private information? Why was that information not made public? Why didn't that bank go into CNBC, ABC, Fox News and simply say, yeah, we have indications that Bitcoin's going to skyrocket. Wait, hold on. Bitcoin is at $6,000. You think it's going to go? Yeah. We have indications that it's going to go to 250,000. Remember the other news? $650,000 per Bitcoin? So we got Pakistan and then Venezuela. Yep, we know this. If you search Venezuelan army Bitcoin, you will find hundreds of articles around it. And for some reason, people keep forgetting these things. Always. It completely disappears from their heads. For those of you who were not here in 2019, I remember I made another long video about this one as well, because it should have been everywhere news. And I think I found one article. I think this is the exact article that I found as well. For those of you not looking at the screen who may be driving and or holding a baby, it says 3 countries told the International Monetary Fund that they want to issue Bitcoin bonds. They wanted to buy up Bitcoin and issue bonds against it because their currencies are worthless. They were Afghanistan, Tunisia, and Uzbekistan. If they went to the IMF and said, hey, we want to start issuing bonds against Bitcoin, what does this logically tell you? What do they already own? What have they been buying up? You don't just randomly go to the IMF and say, we heard about this thing on TV like a couple of days ago. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should start buying some. What does that tell you? This one says Russia plans to tackle U.S. sanctions with Bitcoin investment. This one said by a Kremlin economist. We had news multiple times that there were people within the Kremlin, and usually people who were their head economists, who came forward and said that we plan on allocating a huge portion of our money into Bitcoin. I made videos about that and people said that's nonsense. How crazy does it seem now that governments have been buying Bitcoin this whole time? I don't know why people fight me. Is it because you have nothing better going on in your life? I can't understand why people think that when I bring news or when I say news or when I talk about it, I always make sure that I'm showing an actual news article, because it's mind-boggling the amount of people I can hand them a cup of water and say this is water and they go, soda? And I'm like, no, water. Sand? Over and over. You wouldn't believe how often it actually happens. Russians bought $8.6 billion in Bitcoin. This was said by a Kremlin economist. I've seen a couple of people, you might be new here, not really sure exactly what it is. I'm going to explain something to you. A lot of people have been saying, well, if all this Bitcoin's being bought up, why isn't the price moving? Robots. We live in the future. We have AI. We have automated trading robots that make sure that prices don't move. There was a company about 3 months ago who announced that they would be getting into the cryptocurrency space. I believe it was MicroStrategy. I'm pretty sure it was actually MicroStrategy. They said that they planned on allocating, I believe it was $250 million into the Bitcoin market. The prices didn't even move that day. And like literally off that news, people were like, meh, that's nothing. Nonsense. What happened is using trading robots, they were able They executed 88,000 trades because it's a robot. It can do that. You don't have to be a human sitting there like exhausted trying to figure out when the trades are happening. You can use robots. Over the course of 2 days, 88,000 trades happened with their robots, and the robots were able to actually buy Bitcoin without even moving the price. The price actually had dipped a little bit because it was as if there was no activity. If you put in you see that there are other, as a robot, if you see that there are other sell orders and you put in a buy order for $800, it does nothing to the market. The market doesn't react to $800 buys, $200 buy, $48 buy. It does nothing to the actual market. If you put in a buy order for $250 million, it causes the market to skyrocket. This is how you do it. So this news is from 2019. Another economist came forward from the Kremlin and said that not only had the government bought Bitcoin, but some of the richest people in that country, $8.6 billion worth of Bitcoin in 2019. So we got Pakistan, we got Venezuela, we got Afghanistan, Tunisia, Uzbekistan, and Russia. Pretty sure I said Russia as well. For those of you who weren't here a couple of years ago, this was also major news that really didn't move anyone at all. We had news that Korea, the above one, had apparently, it says, amassed $670 million worth of Bitcoin through hacking. And that the news was that they were also actively mining as well in their land, within their provinces, wherever they might have actually been doing it. This number is probably well over $2 billion plus right now that they actually have in their possession. All the time we get this news, and people forget very quickly that it's not, we are at the point where Bitcoin is going to win. It's going to happen. Governments around the world are buying it and hoarding it and keeping it and not selling any of it. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says how the U.S. handles its massive stash of Bitcoins with an S. Article from 2019. We've had news since 2013, 2014 that Bitcoin was being used to buy, sell, and trade on websites that governments simply don't really care for. And that every time that one of these websites was shut down, the U.S. government actually took those Bitcoin off that website or off that platform and kind of held it. We had a couple of auctions. It wasn't Novogratz. It was the other guy, Tim Draper. Tim Draper is known for having purchased many huge swaths of Bitcoin during the course of these auctions, but the rest of it kind of still remains with the government. And I assume they're probably not going to be holding any more auctions anytime soon. If you have indications and you are being told by your banks, the US dollar is not going to do well this year. It might not do well for the next 4 years. We're getting indications that something that you hold might be the next reserve currency. You should hold on to it. Doesn't that sound a bit more logical? And this one, we got this a couple weeks ago. It says Norway now holds 16,981 Satoshis per Norwegian citizen as a result of the government stake in Square and MicroStrategy. Apparently, the Norwegian oil fund has been buying up tons of companies and buying up allocations in tons of companies. And they own, where is it? They own 2.4% in MicroStrategy and 0.8% in Square. So as per the actual pension fund, if you will, every Norway citizen through this fund actually now, the word isn't inadvertently, you know what I'm talking about, actually holds Bitcoin as well. How odd, right? Remember when the news said that Pakistan was the first one and the only one? Crazy, right? Kind of weird. When I say that Bitcoin's undervalued, I'm not saying it because I like Bitcoin. When I say that Bitcoin's undervalued, I'm not saying it simply because it sounds nice to say. Bitcoin should be a lot higher because we know that governments buy it, own it, are adopting it. Remember the news that we got before about all the banks around the world who are now legally able to hold crypto and custody crypto and buy crypto and store it away? The news that we keep getting that there's 900 Bitcoin made every day, every single day through the computer protocol. Probably only around 100 to 200 are sold, and PayPal alone is buying all 900. MicroStrategy is probably also buying 900 a day, and Grayscale is definitely buying 900. That's 2,700, probably 200. Was that 13, 14 times more than is actually being pushed into the market every single day. And those are just 3 companies that we know about. How many other rich companies out there and countries are buying maybe 100 each per day? Anyway, that's all the country news. Because I see the news and then I sit there and go, no, that's not correct. Like, I know that there are other countries who are trying to do this. And that's not even it. These are the countries that I found over the course of like a good 3-minute period. There are definitely other countries who we've heard about before who have allegedly also been buying Bitcoin. And a lot of them are also the countries that are under sanctions by whether it be the US or Europe. Doesn't really matter. But the news was and has been for a while that they found a way to get around sanctions. Can you guess what they've been using? And they're going to continue to be using? And when Bitcoin's price passes by 100,000, what they're going to continue buying? What do you think is going to happen to some of the smallest countries on the planet when they see that Bitcoin passes by 50,000 US dollars? They're going to go, oh crap, we should have gotten some. What do you think they're going to do when their currencies have already been obliterated? Some of them are like actually worth less than a grain of sand, and that's not an actual joke. Some of them are completely terrible right now. When they see that Bitcoin is going to surpass the US dollar, what do you think these smaller countries are going to start to do? What do you think they're doing now? What do you think happens when you hear an indication that if you buy something right now as a country, you will hold more Bitcoin or the new reserve currency, you will have more than the United States. You could be richer than the United States. What do you think that does for a small country? Whenever we get news about an institution or a company who's buying up Bitcoin, it usually falls on deaf ears. People simply don't want to hear it, or they simply, kind of brush it to the side. These are not the only companies who are buying up Bitcoin. These are not the only individuals. There are millions upon millions of rich people around the world who are allocating money all over the place all the time. It is very easy to buy something without having the market notice. Anyway, that's all that news. I really hope you get it. Really hope it enters the mind and you kind of, bring it on home. I'm sure a lot of you do at this point, but it's mainly for the new people. Remember, we had the news a couple of days ago. It was basically during the dip in prices that it was basically all the new people who sold. And it's really funny because I even noticed a drop in my actual viewers. You can look on the metrics. I noticed a drop in the amount of people who were watching around that time period because these people got spooked and left the market. Imagine selling off a portion of the new world reserve currency. How crazy. And to finish things off, billionaire Mark Cuban says he's a long time. Mark Cuban has said he is a long time cryptocurrency investor despite his sharp critique of crypto assets. Imagine somebody who's wealthy telling other people not to get into Bitcoin because it's garbage. How dare you even think of buying Bitcoin? It's going nowhere. And then years later, announcing to everyone that he's a big fan of Bitcoin. It would be wonderful if that was the first time that had happened. It happens about twice or 3 times a week at this point, where someone who told you not to get into the cryptocurrency space, and inadvertently, you probably had a friend or a family member who listens to Mark Cuban. He's rich. Why would I not listen to him? He definitely knows what's going on. Talked on a news program and told other people, don't buy Bitcoin. Your friend or family member heard you say the word Bitcoin and told you that it was a scam. Don't buy into it. Why would you buy into Bitcoin? I heard from this guy on TV, man, you're going to lose all your money. Doesn't that sound familiar? In a new tweet storm, the entrepreneur says he's far more well-informed on cryptocurrency than some might think. He said, I don't think people realize I tried to test and use all this stuff and have for years. I still have crypto from the early days of Coinbase. I've never sold anything. When Coinbase first got started, I believe the price of Bitcoin was $1. Here's the tweet right here with everything I just said. Here's an article from 2019. Mark Cuban says, I'd rather have bananas. Mark Cuban's warning for Bitcoin investors. I'd rather have bananas. Not hay. This is something that's going to change the world. It will allow everyone around the world to have access to money, to value, that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's not controlled by anyone, that you can do what you want with your own free will all the time. I'd rather have bananas. Mark Cuban said, and even more so, this one is definitely the punch to the face. This was said a couple days ago. Bitcoin is exactly like the dot-com bubble. How funny. How hilarious. And I can tell that he actually has Bitcoin because in the early days of Coinbase, for the first couple of years of Coinbase, Coinbase only had Bitcoin. They refused to list any other coin. That was the purpose of Coinbase. It was a Bitcoin marketplace. They added other altcoins years down the line as many altcoins began to blossom and form. And people kept on saying, why haven't you at least added Ethereum and at least added Litecoin? It makes my blood boil. It makes me, I don't think angry is even the word. Because this isn't going to be the last rich person who says this. This isn't going to be the last rich person or government leader. When the price of Bitcoin fell a couple of days ago, we had about 6 countries who came forward to tell other people Bitcoin was a bubble. Don't get into it. Bitcoin's terrible. Bitcoin's horrible. And now that the price has gone back up, you don't hear anything. I hope all of you continue to pay attention. I'm not sure if even you just paying attention is just listening to my words, listening to the things that I say, or reading the stuff that I put onto the screen. I try to bring you as accurate as news as possible. I'm fallible. I do make mistakes. So sometimes I may not bring you all the stuff, but if I keep seeing a pattern, I'm going to bring you that news. Understand where all of this is going. Anyway, I have a lot more to say, but my throat is actually hurting at this point because, long video. That's the billionaire who told everyone not to get into the cryptocurrency space, that he's been into the cryptocurrency space since at least 2011 to 2014. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Bolero Bastos, Crayola Michelle URL, On Crypto with Lionel, Tigara Matranisa, Bake Me a Cake, Arfmedic17, Anytime Fitness Monk's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich 3, Setsuna, Damien, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Bankroll Network, 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Master Ventures in Thailand, Moher Maroney, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Martin Steuer, Joshua Vineyard, Moonman High, XRP, Utopia 569, Oscar Maldonado, Yasha Harari, Attila the Han, David James, Navarro Williams, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Tolek Banan, Snacky Chan, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, George Montoya, Wiselink, Not TMI, Crypto Stahl, Need a Miracle, Space Case, Troy, All Good, Bare Bones Mining, and Professor Wally from Gunbot University. Thank you for your continued support. I do really mean that. This has been a very intense time for everyone the last year, so I do appreciate all of the support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members, like explicitly. Thank you very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who's been leaving a thumbs up. Thank you to everyone who has left a comment, has continued watching, who's still here at this time. I appreciate it more than you could all begin to possibly imagine. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $38,207, $192. It is currently up by roughly around 11% if you round up. Ethereum's up, down. A lot of the coins are moving upward. Whenever Bitcoin has a slight move down, all the coins are beginning to move down as well, and their Satoshi prices are in red. It looks like the market may be trying to push Bitcoin back above $40,000 again so that we can reach $50,000 so that we can have $40,000 as the support. It was noted on a couple of websites, I don't have them in here, that basically said it appeared as if 30,000 might have been the new support level, what have you. There was XRP news. Once again, a bit of a... people are trying to make sure that they smear XRP as much as possible. Stop it. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, I don't know what's going on in people's heads. I think the UK regulator, the Singaporean regulator, and I think the Japanese regulator or some other country came forward and said, I don't know why, once again, that XRP is a currency and not a security. Not that anyone should care because we've had this news already before. And I think there was a company, oh gosh, I don't know where they were. They weren't in the US, and they announced that they were thinking of delisting XRP, which made logically no sense because they're not even available to US customers. And we know within it's all a lot of stupidity. So, congratulations. Your anger and the last couple of years of you making sure that no one adopts XRP has worked. I hope you're happy. I don't know why people do things like this. It goes across the line. It goes across like everything that we do. You spent more time in your life making sure that you spread negativity as opposed to helping other people actually get into the cryptocurrency space. It just doesn't make any sense. You've wasted your life and you've wasted everyone else's time. I saw at least 12 articles discussing these things about the potential delisting and the potential so-and-so and how XRP's price is going down. It's like, why? Why waste your time? Polkadot is up by 25%. I think there's some, I forgot what it is. I think it's one of the largest DeFi platforms out there right now, and it's gaining a lot of momentum. This is why it's going up. I assume if things continue going this way, is it Thursday? Maybe by Monday, it'll probably have passed XRP unless XRP decides to do one of those miracle jumps once again. Yeah, the market's up, but it's down. So you see like the loop up. It looks like the trend is beginning to go down for the altcoins, and the Satoshi prices are in red, which is an indication that people are pumping their money into Bitcoin. But we'll see what happens as the day ends up going on. Wrapped Bitcoin's going up, of course, because it's wrapped Bitcoin. Anything else crazy? Theta's up by 11. Wonderful. Cosmos, Uniswap. FTX token, sure, why not? Decred's up by 13. Sure. Kusama's up as well. Yeah. Like I said, I told you it was going to be a bit of an intense video. I think it's just one of those days where I really I kind of had it up to here with everything that's been going on. Keep your head down, pay attention to your own money. Make sure that you know where all of this is going. I do not want to hear that anyone who's been watching this channel simply did not know that all this was going to be taking place, that you simply were, nobody told me. I'm telling you, and I've been telling you for a very long time where all of this is going to. I've been telling people on this channel that Bitcoin was going to go up since Bitcoin was like $800. That was the end of 2016, somewhere around there. And then I stopped the channel for a bit and then kind of brought it back, but what have you. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.